Alrighty, here we are. What I want to do is just talk you through some of these questions so you can do corrections. If you have any kind of mark on your test, then I want you to redo these and then turn it back in again. All right. I'm not going to give you answers. I'm going to talk a little bit about steering you in the right direction and how. So look at question number 1. Okay. Dylan read 1/5 of a book on Monday, 2/5 of the book on Tuesday. What fraction of the book did he read on Monday and Tuesday? I need you to think about what kind of operation mathematically they're asking you to do. This much on Monday, this much on Tuesday, put them together. Okay? If you got that one marked wrong, rework it again and fix your answer. Number 2, this one is pretty straightforward. Subtraction, remember we said is really just adding in disguise where you add the opposite. So do that one. Number 3, which of the following fractions is equal to a terminating decimal? Terminating means it stops. So a nice fraction like 1/2. And I say nice because when you take 1 divided by 2 and you do the long division, you end up with 0.5 and then you're done. You have no more remainder. This decimal stopped. That means it's terminating. The other kind of fractions are repeating fractions. So something like 2/3, when we do that one, 2 divided by 3, this one you end up with this being a 6, that's 18. You get 20 again, you get a 6 again. So this is 0.6 repeating. That's a repeating decimal. This kind terminates. You look at those guys and figure out which one is the terminating one. Number 4 is probably the most challenging one, okay? You have a box of granola and it has this many ounces. It costs this much money. So what we're doing, this is actually just like you were doing what we've been working on with unit rates. Take that dollar because they want to know how much money per ounce. You have to do this problem. The money over the ounces. The ounces was 16.8. Now, this is kind of a gross number, all right? This is a gross division problem. But don't panic. The top number or the numerator always goes inside the division box. 5.19 divided by 16.8. Use your decimal skills to move this over and move this over one place. Now, the very first thing you should look at is this is now 168. I'm going to make it cleaner. Going into 51.9. I'm going to put my decimal point right there. Can 168 fit into 51? No. That should make you look at your answer choices and eliminate one immediately. Then you have to ask yourself, how many 168s fit into 519? When you look at your 2 answer choices here, you should be able to eliminate the wrong one and process which is the right one, and then you've got your answer. Show me this amount of work on your paper, and we'll go from there. On number 5, what is the value? If there's nothing in between 2 numbers, and they're both in parentheses like that, the understood operation is multiply. So I need you to multiply these 2 values. They're decimals, and you have a negative times a positive. You have to put all of that information together. So go ahead and show some work. If you got this one incorrect, I want you to go back and rework this one. On number 6, a computer was on sale for 2/3 of the original price. The original price was $900. If you're paying 2/3 of that price, you're getting a better deal. All right. Taking 2/3 of 900 means that you are going to multiply. All right. And make sure that as you process this, you're taking care of multiplying these 2 and you have fractions. Number 7, this is a division problem. The first number goes inside I'm going to not include the signs. This is a negative divided by a positive, which should tell you something about the sign of your answer, so that now you can take the absolute values and do the division this way. Just the 2 4/10 divided by 1 5/10. Remember what you've got to do here. Put it upstairs and now start dividing. You need to write this down. All right, it says Tyrell was late for class 3 times in June. Each time he was late, he missed 5.5 minutes of class time. So what was the total amount? Total means you could either add them all together, or this says 3 times that number. When you are dealing with mixed numbers, remember that you should really take this mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. Okay? Then go ahead and do your multiplying. If you're going to add it, you could just come off and add it. Either way is acceptable. Show me your work. Ben's family went on a car trip. They stopped for gas 4 times. Each time they stopped, they spent an average of 15 minutes. On their trip, how much time? So here's another one. You can either add all of those together or take 4 times. Pietro sailed his sailboat, 1,260 yards in 30 minutes. If you want to figure out his average rate, you have to take 1,260 yards in 30 minutes and figure out how much is that in 1 minute. That means you have to divide. Figure it out. Okay? Use your skills. Number 11. Max played a video game. 1,440 points. I'm going to label that. And that was a total over 12 games. I want to find his average for 1 game. That means this divided by this. That means this, oops, make that a 4. Sorry, sloppy. Divided by 12. Go to town. Figure it out. Please make sure you're labeling your answer. Okay? Label your answer. Martin is buying 4 plastic figures that cost $17 each. How much money does he need to save? So you have 4 of these. Each one is $17. You're looking for the total. You decide which way you want to approach it. Okay? It's similar to some of your other questions. Number 13 simply says, write this mixed number as an improper fraction. Okay? Improper fraction. So give me one answer. I don't need any label there. The profits at Carla's craft shop decreased by $1,015 in 1 week. Sorry, my pen is acting a little wonky. Okay? All right, and that's in 1 week. So on average, and I'm making an assumption here since they just say 1 week, that she's open every day. Okay, so you need to know how many days are in 1 week. And if we're averaging it, we want to take that amount of money per day. Okay, so you have this much money divided by how many days. Go to town. Make sure you label it. Simran waited 3.5 hours for her car to get repaired. What is 3.5 written as a decimal? That one, you just write this in decimal format. That's all you have to do. No more to that one. All right, during a sale, all video games are $10 off. Rebecca used a coupon to get an additional $15 off her purchase. If the original price of a video game was $60, how much did Rebecca pay? So you have to start with the original price and then make sure you take off what her the sale price or the sale that you're getting and the coupon that she's using. This one, product. You have to know what that word means in math. Does it mean add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Product is a word that means multiply. You have negative and negative that you're going to multiply. You have 2 decimals. So make sure you're practicing and being careful putting all those skills together. Number 18, Tyra's purse weighs 2 1/4 pounds. What's the weight of her purse expressed as a decimal? That's all you have to do there. Write 2 1/4 in decimal format. Okay, Manny drove 45 miles in 0.75 hours. Okay, what was the average rate that he drove in miles per hour? So I have 45 miles in 75 hundredths of an hour. That's not even a whole hour yet. Okay, so that tells you I've still got a ways to go to figure out what my speed is in a whole full hour. This really is telling you take 45 miles and divide it by 75 hundredths. Okay, and this is miles per hour. Make sure you label your answer. Thank you. Kai went on a bike ride. Every time he stops to drink water, his bike ride takes 3 minutes longer. So when he takes a water break, it's 3 minutes long. If he stops to drink water 6 times, how much longer does his bike ride take? Grab that information, calculate it out, and make sure you label your answer. 21. Damien's computer repair shop earned $2,500 in income last week. That's the money he takes in. The expenses he had were $3,750. Expenses means you're paying, spending, using, which implies that this guy is negative. So you have to figure out what is either his profit, where his final answer is positive, or his loss, where his final answer is negative. You need to label your answer as money, and you also need to tell me either with a positive or negative sign, profit or loss, or use the words profit or loss. 22. Karen bought a handbag for $55. Agnes spent 1.5 times as much on hers. Okay, so Karen spent $55. Agnes spent 1.5 times Karen's amount that she spent on this purse. Figure out how much it is. Label your answer. Okay. Wally purchased a desk that was on sale for 2/3 of the original price. If that original price was $450, what was the price that Wally paid? He paid 2/3 times that price. You're just multiplying 2 values. Go ahead, calculate, make sure you label your answer. Last one. This is one of the bigger challenge ones, I admit. So you have 2 mixed numbers and you're dividing. In addition, this guy is negative. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what's the sign of your answer. Once you take care of that, now you can just take the 2 number values and go to town with these guys if you take care of the sign. First, whenever we have mixed numbers, the first thing I say is change these into improper fractions. How many thirds, how many eighths? Then you can take those 2 fractions and use our skill that we were using, saying, oh, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, and go to town. Be patient. You'll get some simplification here, and it's not as bad an answer as you want, but make sure you watch the sign, improper fractions, change it to multiply, boom. Okay? Make those corrections, turn it back in. All right? No calculator. May the force be with you.